3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. It is now time for stream night. I don't even know what the title of this damn stream is called. I keep messing it up every time. It's a Ash on Comics Live, Storytime Live, where we read bedtime stories to all the young little kiddies getting ready for bed. And if that didn't sound creepy, I'm not trying hard enough. Computer Robots, first in the house tonight. Welcome, buddy. He says, hello, everyone. Eric Breen says he's the first human. Rightio. And Tehillim is here. And he's the first from the Southern Hemisphere. So, we got 3 firsts tonight. Melissa, good to see you. Lord is in the house. Christopher Barker, Dragon Majesty. Look at you guys. It's like you're regulars or something. Hope everyone's got a nice beverage. I'm drinking Coke Zero because I'm boring and old. Eric, you know about that, right? You're boring and old. I bet you drink Coke Zero. Tell me what you guys are drinking. I don't got much to talk about today. I feel like I'm talking about the same things over and over and over. I was on England Teen stream earlier tonight, and he was talking about, what is it now? The progressives are attacking superheroes. Because everything's got to be destroyed. Now, even superheroes. The things that... it's an American institution, modern superheroes. It's part of our culture, and it's got to be destroyed. I'm not going to really rehash that. You can go watch England Teen stream if you care about what we talked about. I'm just struggling these days to talk about things that aren't COVID or aren't BLM or Antifa. It's like they're just so dominant in our face. So I kind of rely on you guys in the chat, bring up some sort of topic. I'm in a couple of different DM groups on Twitter. Too many, as a matter of fact. I like DM groups, but I don't like them at the same time. I feel like they're, I hate to say the word exclusionary, but the part of the reason I like Twitter is it's just a big open conversation. It's like being at a party, right? And you can just mingle with whoever you want, and people can come into the conversation or leave the conversation however they want. When you're in a DM group, you got the benefit of it being like invite only, like, oh, just the cool kids are allowed to hear to talk, which can make conversations a lot easier because you get to know who's a part of the group, and okay, these 6 people, I'm not going to offend if I say this, it's fine. But also it feels like you're limited to who you're talking to. How do I say that? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. When you sit here on the mic like this, sometimes what's more important is just to keep the stream of conscious going than actually having anything worthwhile to say. Because I guess it just dead air. If I sit here and try to think of something important, I'll just have a bunch of dead air. And that's not good. Christopher Bark says, I'm drinking Just Coke, Ash. I finally got the Marvel Encyclopedia in the mail today. Oh, yeah. I like Just Coke. I don't really endorse Coke Zero, but like I said, I'm boring and old. And I'm getting to that age where the high fructose corn syrup is more deadly to me than the chemicals that are in the sugar-free stuff. It's a no-win situation, right? The only way you really win is drink water, which I try to drink more of, but it's my one vice is soda. I can't give it up. Let's see. I'm True Skills has shown up and says, what's up, Ash? Well, what's up to you, buddy? What's going on with you guys? I appreciate all the hellos. Give me something. Oh, Eric is sleeping. Oh God, he's on his sleeping medications. I got to keep him entertained. Melissa Harris says, Ash, you, Englentine, Nerdette, Yellow Flash, and Professor Geek, Big Al, and everybody else are my friends. Well, thanks, Melissa. You're my friend, too. Yellow Flash doesn't like me. He blocked me. He's kind of a snowflake. I didn't even say anything mean to him. He just blocked me. But whatever. Those guys. Not everyone likes everyone, unfortunately. But that, I don't really get offended by that stuff. I like being able to talk I like what social media allows you just to talk and let people who want to engage and want to hear what you have to say do so, and the people that want to ignore you, they can do what Yellow Flash does and just block me. He'll never hear from me again. So let's see. Eric says, no, corn syrup talk invites narcolepsy. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. If you would like a better... So Eric is going to nominate a subject to talk about that's very entertaining. We'll wait for Eric's next message. He doesn't like talking about corn syrup. Let's see. Melissa, Englentine, Ash are the only ones I like. I hate the others. Well, hate is such a strong term. I don't know who Big Al is. And I like Nerdette. You shouldn't hate Nerdette. How can you hate Nerdette? I have to admit, I don't listen to nearly the number of videos of her content like I used to, because I'm just not into the Hollywood drama, like, the Johnny Depp, what's her name? Amber Heard. Some people are passionate about that stuff. That's fine. It's not my cup of tea. But when she was doing comic reviews, I liked listening to that stuff. And I think she's a good kid. You say she has an annoying voice. Oh, all right then. I think I have an annoying voice, so I'm not going to judge anyone else's voice. Let's see. Melissa says, my friend Big Al's mom has been sick, and I have been praying for her. Oh, well, we should all pray for her then. Hopefully she gets well soon. Ryuk says, yay, I didn't miss the comic, just missing the babble talk. Man, I'm getting a complex. I think I just shut up and read comics. Apparently no one wants to hear me talk about anything. I was trying to get Eric Breen. Wait, Eric Breen says he wants to talk about pancakes. You know what pancake syrup's made with, right, Eric? Oh, man. So, we should get Eric Breen to stream with me, because apparently I'm boring, and I know Eric Breen is funny as hell. So, any complaints about the boringness of the babble, I want everyone to blame Eric. He is going to be my scapegoat, because I declare this would be a much more entertaining show with him on than without. So, yes, Eric, you're now the scapegoat. It's all your fault. Let's see. Melissa says, my son Jake is getting a Batman White Knight V-Mate figure. I'm not sure what a V-Mate figure is. I'm going to guess it's an action figure. I love Batman White Knight, so sounds, I'm approve, thumbs up. So tonight we've got 2 comics like usual. For those of you who've tuned in listening and you're like, what the hell is this shit all about? The format of this is basically a stream where I read a couple comic books, before bed. And one of them, what I call the headliner, the main event comic, is usually a part of a series or a story arc. In this case, it's Middlewest. We're going to be on issue 3. I'll be reading issues 1 through 6 in total. Issue 3 is tonight. And then before then, we'll read the opening act. I don't know, I gotta find a better way to describe these things, but the opening act is usually a one-off read of a comic. Sometimes it's a good comic, sometimes it's something really shitty that we all make fun of. So tonight it's going to be something pretty good. And that's what it is. And beforehand, we just allow some people some time to stroll in off the streets and just talk comics. Most of the people in here are regulars. Ed Brewer's in the house. If you're not a regular, well, you're welcome to be one. You can type in the chat or just lurk in the background. If I do something, if I can be better, then welcome your comments to say, hey, shut up and read comics, or whatever. But if you don't make suggestions, you can't complain about anything. Ed says, if you can't get Jerry, Eric is the next best thing. Who's Jerry? I don't know who Jerry is. Computer robots and me hang out with Big Al and Professor Geek and Troy, just like we do with you. All right, I don't know. Maybe I should learn who Big Al is. I've never ran across. There's a whole bunch of people in the comic book community. As a matter of fact, before I started my stream tonight, I noticed 3 people that are just on my subscription list or whatever, and were streaming. And I was like, great. Although there are 3 people on my subscription list that I rarely watch. I probably unsubscribe, but I was like, there are so many people. If you go out into YouTube and just search for like comics YouTubers and stuff, there are so many. And it's really weird because they're very almost like insular, like cliques, for example, like among this crowd here in my channel, there's a lot of regulars that also are part of England Teen. But then, there's some other groups and they'll have like their whole other crowd and they don't really cross paths too much. You know what I'm saying? But occasionally there's some crossover, like Melissa watches Big Al. But you're not going to really find many people that are like Professor Geek, for example. His viewers aren't going to be in here, other than, like I said, the exception, which is Melissa. But there's a lot of people that probably all of us haven't heard of. It's just weird how many times I see, and the YouTube will pop stuff up in my recommendations. I'll be like, who's this person? Let's see. Christopher Barker says, no pancakes, Cabin Fever reference. Me and my son don't agree with Sean. We feel he puts Batman down and turned Gotham into an ungrateful ingrates. We're getting the figure to have alternate Batman of the multiverse. Okay, well, hopefully you've read all of the Batman White Knight, because I'm guessing that you may not have, because the beginning of the story for the first White Knight especially does feel like it's bringing Batman down, like he's doing that. But I think that the story comes around full circle. He brings Batman down so that he can build him back up. He's not doing it to disrespect the character. I feel like Sean really does respect the character, and by the end of the story, Batman is the hero that we respect. I think what Sean does with Batman White Knight is try to put fallibility into Batman, and a lot of Batman fans aren't used to that. Because especially with the second White Knight book, he doesn't make the mistakes that he made in the first series, but he makes a whole series of new mistakes, and some really bad consequences happen because of that. And I think it makes for a really powerful story, and because it's an Elseworlds book, and I can fully just jump on board and accept it, I think they're both wonderful stories. And like I said, by the end, Batman's comes around. He feels like the hero I've always known him to be, just more with a fallible side, almost more like a Marvel-like take of Batman, not the untouchable paragon of virtue that DC traditionally has their main heroes like. More of a Peter Parker, Daredevil, Iron Man, like the way Marvel characters, they all have flaws and mess up from time to time. Let's see. Melissa Harris says, my son is a collector. V-Mate is a Diamond Select. Okay. Eric Breen says, Mags should have written White Knight. Oh, God. Maybe that's why she's upset. Maybe if Mags had gotten written White Knight, she wouldn't have Me Too'd Sean. Let's see. Ash on Comics Fan Man, Troy Pacelli, and Big Al Presents are friends of Professor Geek. That show on his stream most of the time, mostly Big Al Fan Man, who are funny, and Big Al is is optimistic as well. I've heard of Fan Man. I think I might have seen a couple of his videos, and he seems kind of funny. But I don't watch Professor Geek anymore. So he kind of went off the rails for me, and I just didn't like his content. I don't know what happened. So I really liked the old Professor Geek, and then he kind of became the Comicsgate Professor Geek, and I was like, I'm tuning out. So, hey, you know what? Everyone does their own thing. Everyone's going to... But believe me, I don't believe I'm not some star. I've already lost 2 viewers since I've been talking. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the first book tonight. Where is it? Gotta learn how to navigate comicsology. Melissa says Professor is a smart guy. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That's why I watched his show in the beginning. He had some really good content when he did his actual professor stuff. Mags needs to develop talent instead of attention. And Eric says, I'm a straw. That is true. Straw on comics. So tonight, I saw this cover and I loved it. I don't know if you're in love with it as I am, but I like Batman, the animated series. And one of the cool things I was excited when I heard that they were doing this Adventures Continue series, not just bringing back essentially the spiritual successor of that show, but I think there was an interview with Burnett and Dini, and they were talking about bringing characters into the mythos that they never got to do in the animated show, right? And I might be wrong on a few of these, but like Deathstroke, Jason Todd, Azrael, as you see here on the cover, that's who that is, Azrael. I'm not sure if Bane was in the animated series or not, but anyways, that's the whole point of connecting the animated series, or at least bringing more of the comic books into the animated series mythos. So I'm kind of curious to see how that would fit. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think this is a fun book. And you can get these for less than $1. So go grab these on Comixology. It's less than $1. And they're better than most comics. So here we go. Batman, The Adventures Continue. And I don't do guided view on this one. These ones are designed to be read digitally. Let's see. Writers Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, and artist Ty Templeton. This is chapter 7. Maybe Tim is right. Maybe I do tend to take my time chasing Catwoman. Could be there's a certain reluctance on my part. Or that she's good at the chase. You want it? Here. Bye-bye, Batboy. Or maybe it's just that. Huh? Chook-a-chook. He seems to have borrowed a page from my playbook. Grim cloaked figures striking at criminals. For a second, I wonder if this is the stalker who's been following me around the last few weeks. But something tells me this is something new. Okay, you can start chasing me again. Sharg. Foot. Crash. Crunch Ack. Who are you? A substitute member of the Bat Gang or just a weirdly dressed wannabe? I'm from Saint Dumas. Where's the shawl? The shawl? That rag? You gotta be kidding. I never kid. The loss of an eye should make you see that. Fring. No one's losing anything tonight, except me and my patience. This is my patience, brother. Stay back. And I thought Deathstroke was quick. This guy's like a panther. He's fast. I'll give him that. But familiar. For a moment, I thought you were someone who's been shadowing me. I'd assure you, I'm not. I believe you. We fought before, a lifetime ago. Yes, I know him. Best to end this now. Let's hope the mask doesn't include nose filters. Shoo? Ah! It doesn't. You are always the trickster. You reacted quickly enough not to get knocked out, but still he knows the gas will slow his reflexes. Next time. Crash. I gotta say, never a dull moment. Tell me about the shawl. Yeah, I stole it. From some monastery. The Shawl of Magdalene, they called it. Magdalene. And it's sacred to those priests. It's supposed to have healing properties. Is that so? Maybe I should put it over your heart. Good line. That's a good line. Get serious, Selena. It's a vengeful God who rules over the Order of St. Dumas. They'll have no mercy for what you've done. You have to give it back. But I don't have it. It was just a job. I was paid to steal it. By whom? You better tell me, otherwise there'll be no rest for you. If this man is who I think he is, he'll never stop. And the longer you make him wait, the harsher the punishment. I'll be ready for him. All you have to do is give me a name, Selena. I can handle the rest. You have to trust me. I can protect you. I promise. Come on, kitty. Got a nice warm pillow of glass and milk for you at the end of the ride. A 24-hour guard? You expecting trouble? It's already here. Beep. Yes. Pardon, sir, but your presence is requested at the home as soon as possible. You have a visitor. I always harbored suspicion that the famous Batman was you, Bruce. It wasn't until we fought tonight that I knew for sure. I always admired your defensive skills, even as a student. Is that why you've taken to wearing that costume? You know what they say, when in Rome? I felt tracking down the cat would be more effective if I had imposing armor, more akin to the famous Dark Knight. I was right. Gotham's lowlifes were always easier to assist me. Perhaps too imposing, John Paul. It's Azrael now. The name given to me by the clerics. I wonder what they would have called you. Too bad I couldn't stick around long enough to find out. I wasn't surprised. You were never in it for the long run. Just the certain disciplines in the ancient art of war. You seem to skip the church altogether. I've always been a late sleeper. You probably didn't believe in the power of the shawl either. Let's just say that if I needed medical help, I'd probably choose a physician over a piece of cloth. You know she'll have to suffer for taking it. It wasn't her idea. She was working for someone, and he has it now. She even told me who it was. Who? That depends on how reasonable you can be. If you're willing to forget about Catwoman, I'm willing to help. Alfred and I can even create armor that would make you look more ally than enemy. If not, the shawl could be missing for a long time. I can be reasonable. Where shall we begin our search? One of the first things you'll learn about Gotham is that all roads lead to the Iceberg Lounge. Well, isn't this nice and civilized, Batman? You and your, cousin here paying me a visit after hours without much delivering so much as a single concussion to my staff? Could I interest you in either a little bit of arsenic? All we want is the shawl, Penguin. Well, I don't mean to ruffle your feathers, boys, but I was merely the middleman in the transaction. I simply took the shawl from Catwoman and passed it on to its current owner, who would rather remain anonymous of our core. Ach! Azrael. Don't fool with us, Cobblepot. We want a name. By all means, I'll give you one, Mr. Wing. Oh, man. He's my new wingman, Batman. And the last name either of you will ever hear. Dun, dun, dun. Next, birds of a feather fight together. How cool is this? Batman and Azrael. Man, I just kind of wish this was in the animated series. I want to see this again. That's what DC should be doing. Not stupid Titans. I'm not going to dog on Doom Patrol. I've heard Doom Patrol is pretty good. Why don't they bring this back on the DC universe thing? Oh, whatever. Let's see. Melissa says, Sean Gordon Murphy had Bruce put on death row or possibly life in prison and broke Sean Gordon Murphy. Don't understand Bruce Wayne or Batman. Trust Gotham. And the GCD puts into him. What? He didn't put Bruce on death row. No. Let's see. Eric says, could you start over? I wasn't listening. Yikes. Quirks is in the house. At least there's someone here that's not a jerk to me. Quirks, good to see you. Ryuk says, oh God, Titans. Barf. What's that famous line of Titans? Oh, yeah, when Robin says, fuck Batman. SGM didn't put him on death row. It's just to heal him. That is correct. And Melissa says this comic is canon to the DCAU. Yeah, this is part of the DC. Well, I guess, however, it's part of the DC. It's part of Batman animated series. I don't know how canon the Batman animated series is to the DCAU, but the DCAU. Oh Jesus, haven't seen this one yet. I don't think Plastic Man is social distancing. His hand is a little close to Flash there. And why aren't they wearing masks? Whatever. All right, so tonight's main event comic is Middlewest. This is a pretty good comic. I don't know if you guys have been following. A couple of you have. Eric might have been falling asleep. Who knows? But I've been enjoying this comic. I think the art is really beautiful. Hopefully you guys are too. I wish you guys were a little bit more chatty. I'm down to 8. Down to 8 for the live stream. That's a new low for me. Now I'm getting all sorts of self-conscious. I would think that like Batman would be a bigger draw. Oh, now I'm down to 7. No one wants the Middlewest. I would think Batman would be a bigger draw. But who knows? I'm going to go ahead and get into Middlewest now. Unless there's any comments I'm missing. I don't think I am. Middlewest by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. I think that's how you pronounce it. If you haven't been following everything, basically, little boy, kind of semi-abusive father, kind of messes up, has an altercation with the dad, and he runs away from home, lives in a land called Middlewest. The land is not really like Earth. It feels like a fantasy land a little bit. This whole book's a little bit of a fantasy. So that's why things are a little bit weird. For example, he's got a companion that's a talking fox, but in this world that's normal. And he's on an adventure. He met in the last issue this old man named, I think his name was Zeb, if I remember right, who was a wizard, and he's got this chest tattoo thing on his chest that occurred when the big tornado monster touched him, and apparently it's sort of the crux of the story. It's going to be this big danger. He's trying to get it cured, and just when Zeb was trying to help out, the kid decides to run away again. And so now we're on issue 3, and see where this adventure takes us. Let's see. Oh, Dragon Ball Talk has joined us. Talk about the new Joker story. He's now DC's richest man. Well, I'll talk about the new Joker story maybe after this read. Talk about good books, not about abused little boys. This is a good book. Oh, I think it's maybe, I don't know. Let's see. All right, that's enough. Okay, going back. Here we go. Middlewest. Running into the woods. Stopping at a stream. Want some now? Hell yes. What? You're supposed to say, no, you have it all, Abel. Nah, I'm far too hungry to be that nice. Whatever. There's a creek. Fill up on water if you're that hungry. We're saving this for tonight. You're the worst. You know that, right? Yup. I was hoping we'd make it to Sparland before dark, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Let's just hole up here for the night. Sounds good to me. So what? Never mind, it's nothing. Abel, you can talk about him. I don't even know what to think. That thing was your dad. Yeah, Dad. My dad. I don't know why it's so hard to say now. I just can't stop seeing his eyes. He was so angry. Why do I make him so angry? I don't mean to. It's not your fault, Abel. None of this is your fault. You have to believe that. Then why do I feel so bad? Because you're a good kid. And even if it feels like you hate that asshole most of the time, he's still your father. It can be tough to reconcile those two things. What do you think happened to him? Is he still that thing? Is he back to normal? Is he alive at all? Look, is that Dale? Oh my gods, are you okay? And this looks like the aftermath of the tornado. Here, let me help. No, stay away. Penny, come back, girl. I'm so sorry, Dale. It came out of nowhere, man. Dale, where's your son? Where's Abel? Abel. I'm sorry. Dale! Somebody get water and blankets. Has anyone called the medics? The storm knocked out the phone lines. I'll run and try to find some help. Two days later. He's still unconscious, but all of his vitals are normal. Did the blood panel come back yet? Yes. All clear as well. None of this makes any sense. If nothing is wrong with him, then how do we explain that? An infection of this kind should have ravished his bloodstream by now. Or worse, killed him. But, doctor, look. He's waking up. My son. Abel. Where's my son? Corey, see if you can get the sheriff. Wait, can you see if the sheriff is still down the hall and ask her to come here? Dale, you were caught in a storm a few days ago, but you're gonna be okay now. We're taking good care of you. I have to go. I understand, but right now, I need you to lie down and stay calm. You just said I was okay, right? Yes, but... Good. Then I need to go find my boy. We need to talk about that. There's nothing to talk about, Sheriff. I'm afraid there is, Dale. That storm came out of nowhere. You and I have been around our fair share of them in the Middlewest, but this one? It was something different, much worse than we've ever seen. As if it was, I don't know, angry. Yes, it was the damnedest thing. After it was over, we had half of Farmington looking for survivors in this county and the surrounding area. Almost everyone was accounted for, but Abel, I don't know how to tell you this. Then don't bother. My son is out there somewhere. I'm going to go find him. You know the damage these twisters are capable of. It leveled the south end of town. 10 others were lost. You need to accept this, Dale. He's just a boy. And that storm, It was too much. He doesn't stand a chance out there. Hear my dog snoring in the background. I don't know if you can. We're getting close. You might be the only kid on Earth that thinks 40 miles on foot is close. Funny. You know, for a species that was made for walking, you sure have complained a lot about all the walking. I told you, epic quests are not really my thing. You keep saying that, yet here you are questing quite epically. If I didn't know you any better, I'd say you might actually be enjoying yourself. Abel, stop. If I was enjoying myself before, I'm not now, and neither are you. Why? What's wrong? Why? Are you afraid of an old covered bridge? It's not the bridge, dummy. It's what usually lives inside the bridge. Yeah? And what's that? A troll. No, that's not very nice. A nice thing to call someone in their own home. We're sorry. He didn't mean anything by it. Thank you, child. Apology accepted. Phew, thank you. You're a very understanding Yes, thank you. We're going to ease on down the road now and leave you to your business. Yes, you can leave, but not before you pay the toll. I'm sorry, but we don't have any money. Then it's a riddle for you. A riddle? That's it? Yes. I will ask you a question. You will give me the answer. Get it right before time runs out and you may pass. Get it wrong. I won't. See, you're a smart child. You shouldn't have any problem here. Ready? That's not fair. You can't start the time before. I am all about, but never seen. I can be harnessed, but never held. I have no voice, but you can hear my whistles. I can be blocked, but never quelled. Who am I? Think about it. It's... No cheating, trickster. You won't like what happens to cheaters. Can't be quelled. Wait. I've got it. Wind. It's the wind, right? Very good, child. I knew you were a bright one. Sorry to say, but you were also out of time. So now, your journey ends. Abel, look out. Hurry, get into the sun. He won't be able to follow us. Oh, crafty little trickster knows my weakness. That's okay, I have taken care of. Shrunk. It's closed off. There's no way out. You're mine now, child. Abel, your chest. It's doing it again. Grrr. No. No. What magics are you playing at, child? Ah. And the troll was turned to stone. Is he? Yes. We're okay now. Holy fu... Yup. Still okay. Crashed through the bridge, it looks like. I know you were excited about walking all 40 miles, but what do you say we sneak a ride at least part of the way? Yeah, good idea. Abel, wake up. We're here. This place is a ghost town. Where is everybody? Maybe over by that light? Looks like we found the place. Yeah, and hopefully someone who can help me. End of chapter 3. See what kind of extras there's going on here. Little sketches at the end of the book. It's kind of cool. All right. Yeah, you can get these books for less than $1 a piece as well. So if you're interested in these, you can pick them up on Comixology. It's a good way to get comics that you don't necessarily feel the need to have collected, physical editions. I kind of do a supplement myself on these, having some digital and some print because, man, I got back into full collecting in about 2 years ago. It was midway through 2018. And I'm already up to 9 short boxes. it's just the room. You're just like, Jesus, so much room this takes up. So, yeah, it's a good way to like have comics. I pretty much like to collect the books that I think are going to be a collectible thing, or the things that I just really, really love. And the stuff that I just like to read, but probably will never be a collectible or anything. I'm happy to have digital because I read most of the stuff on my iPad anyway. Once you read on an iPad Pro, you don't ever want to go back to paper. Well, I don't want to say you don't want to go back. Paper's fine, but it's such a great reading device. Let's see what's going on with the chats. Eric says only Gabby Rivera's America can save his stream now. Oh no. If Gabby Rivera is the only thing that can save my stream, I'm in trouble. Let's see. Oh, yeah, talk about the new Joker story. So, the new Joker story, there's not really much to talk about, to be honest. It's a setup for Joker War, an excuse for DC to tell 20-something issues of Batman crossover comics so you can buy lots and lots of comics from DC and have a really decompressed story about the Joker scheming and doing something. Well, we just had 8 issues of that. We just spoiler alert, about to spoil something. Mute your thing if you don't want to be spoiled on Batman. The whole recent story in Batman, James Tynion's story with the designer, he was the Joker all along. Okay. So no more spoiler. So you got like 7 issues of that, or 8 issues, or however long it was. There's like, oh, now I got 20 something more. Yeah. Oh, and then we're gonna have the 3 Jokers. I'm just jokered out. Joker's a cool character, but he's overdone. Let's see. Dragon Ball says, this book sucks in my opinion. Sorry, but I'm here. Well, you're allowed to have opinions. Let's see. Looks like Eglantine Kid art. Eglantine Kid art? Oh, are you referring to Eglantine's kid? She draws them like more anime style or manga style. This doesn't look like that. Melissa says, oh my god, he's naked. Oh, come now, Melissa. I know you've seen a naked man before. Let's see. More talk about Marxists. Let's try to avoid talking about Marxists. Ash, I don't give in or bend the knee to woke SJW communist Marxist far left. It's just who I am. That's how God and Jesus made me. I believe in friendship. Well, I'm not asking to bend the knee to SJWs or Marxists, but I also don't necessarily think everything is an SJW and a Marxist that's out there. Sometimes we can get a little bit so, how do I say this? We see so much of it that we start seeing it everywhere, right? It's like war veterans. They go to war and then they come back to civilization, but then they start still seeing things and hearing gun. It's like because they're so inundated with it. And I think our society, we see it, especially in comics. We see it so much in comics that anything that even resembles it, it may not be an SJW or a Marxist thing. It just might be something that coincidentally resembles something else that another Marxist, person did. And then we're like, oh my God, that's, and we're identifying it incorrectly. And I believe in giving things benefit of the doubt. Plus I like Sean. I've been paying attention to Sean Gordon Murphy for a long time. I see no evidence that guy is an SJW or a Marxist. And I do think he likes Batman, and I like the cut of his jib. Let's see. I Am True Skill says, hey Ash, did you read Hawkeye Freefall series? No, it's first of all, I don't like Hawkeye. It takes a lot to get me to read Hawkeye, and also it's Matthew Rosenberg, and the covers look atrocious. And yeah, it looks, I'm judging it by its cover and I'm judging it by its creator, but it looks like everything about Marvel that I hate, so I skipped it. But am I wrong? Is it amazing? Eric says, more Joker and Harley. Oh, Eric's hopped up on his meds again. Time to put Grandpa into bed. Ryuk says the Joker has gotten stale like a piece of bread left out for 5 hours. Yeah. Melissa says, I don't like the new 52 or Teen Titans Go or the Harley Quinn TV show or the White Knight or Gotham TV show or Arrowverse or anything new from DC. I personally prefer classic DCU. Well, you are very welcome to have, personal opinions. Everyone's going to like what they're going to like. I pretty much agree with everything on those feelings as well. The only part we defer there is on White Knight. But everything else, I'm right in line with you. Computer Robot says, bye guys, I need to get some sleep. I'm so tired. Take care, everyone. Oh, robots, you don't sleep. I think what he meant is he has to recharge. Gotta go plug in. True Skill says, I liked it. Hawkeye Freefall was a little campy, but the last issue was dark. All right. Maybe I'll give it some consideration. Breen says, no one at Marvel writes Hawkeye worth a damn these days. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's true, Breen. What about, there was a recent Hawkeye series that it's now on Unlimited. I'm going to start reading it soon. Old Man Hawkeye. And I'm trying to remember who's the who's the guy that wrote that? He seems like to be an up-and-coming writer. And I've heard nothing but praise of Old Man Hawkeye. Yeah. Melissa says, Sean's probably a nice guy. His comic is not for me. Well, I understand, Melissa. I mean, as much as I can. I can't honestly relate to you because White Knight is the comic that got me back into comics. It's one of the best comics I've ever read, like as far as Batman goes. I mean, I love it so much. I've done reviews, especially if you go and watch like my White Knight 2, what is it? The Curse of the White Knight issue 4 review. That's one of the ones I'm more proud of, where I go in depth and really illustrate like why this is such a great comic book. And like, and the writing is so amazing and his art is mind blowing. I make a lot of arguments in my reviews that I did about the book. So if you care to hear those points of view, those are always there for you to watch at your leisure. But I respect that people like different things. There are some things that are fantastic and great that I don't necessarily, love either. So we all have different world views and different life experiences that all make us attached to different things. What's his name in the chat hates the Middlewest for some reason, because I don't know. But sometimes things just reach out to us. Ethan Sachs is the writer. Thank you, Ryuk. Ethan Sachs. That's right. And he also wrote Old Man Quill. That is also correct. Just waiting on the next Old Man series. I hope they don't just burn that into the ground. When Old Man Hawkeye came out, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? I was like, I already hate Hawkeye, and now you're making a rip-off book of Old Man Logan. It's Hawkeye of all people. And I was like, whatever. But then one of the YouTubers that I was really fond of, that I followed, and he doesn't do YouTube videos anymore, and I'm kind of bummed. But he was reviewing this book, and he was just like raving about it, like the way that I rave about Hawkman or Daredevil. He just, every review was like, this is so amazing. And I was like, really? And I trust his reviews. I mean, that's the reason I was watching his videos. He has really good taste in comics. And I was like, all right, I need to put this down a mental note and check this out. And so now it's on Comixology Unlimited, so I'm going to go read it. But everyone else that I've talked to that's read Old Man Hawkeye is like, yeah, it's good. It's really good. I was like, okay. But I just hope they don't. They did Old Man Quill, and now they got, what is it, Avengers in the Wasteland, which it's not called Old Man, but it's really the same thing, right? It's in the same wasteland, this Old Man universe timeline thing. And I don't know if Old Man America is a joke, because if that's true, oh, cringe. But I think everyone's kind of fallen asleep. The chat's dying down. Let's see, Ash, you forget that Sean mocked Jesus and calls Jesus an atheist, and Jesus is not an atheist. He's Jewish and a carpenter, and mine, your Lord and Savior, who died for our sins. Well, I don't know much about what Sean mocked, but I do believe that Jesus would forgive Sean. And I do believe that if he was mocked, it's hard to talk about religion, especially when you're on YouTube or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I believe the whole point, my whole belief in Jesus and believe in God and everything, is my takeaway message is that the message, God's message through Jesus, was love. So I think we're living in a world now, and I'm not saying anyone, you or anyone else particular here, this is just a general, but we're living in a world that's trying to preach the opposite. It's preaching hate. It's constantly preaching, And even if it's not outright hate, like you want to kill someone, it's preaching not love. It's preaching that person's your enemy. Dislike them, cancel them, don't. And I think we need to reach out to each other more. And especially, like I said, everything I've seen from Sean seems like a nice guy. If he doesn't believe in God and he's made some mistakes, I'm not going to write him off because of that. That's me. I mean, everyone's got to do what they got to do. I'm just going to share my opinions. Eric says, "Old Lady America, sign me up." I might be there right there with you. Melissa says, "I pray for Sean's soul, but atheists are too far gone in their hatred of God." Well, I don't know if that's a fair thing to say, Melissa, because while there's definitely militant atheists out there, you can't hate God if you truly believe that he doesn't exist, right? Which is always a confounding thing that I have for those militant atheists out there that are out there hating God. I'm like, do you hate Santa Claus? Do you hate the Easter Bunny? Do you hate the Greek gods? You don't, because you think that they're just a myth. You think that they're just a made up thing. It's silly to hate those things because they're just fantasy. You have to have something substantial to hate. So the fact that you're hating God just shows me that maybe you don't disbelieve like you say. But I know quite a few atheists that don't hate God. They just have a mindset that the world is the way that it is. Like the universe was just created at random, and that we were just evolved from rocks and science. Just basically there's just no divine being. And while that's not my belief, I don't think that that's a hateful thought. There are some that do, for sure. I just don't want to lump everyone into the same bandwagon. Just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean you hate God. Just maybe you don't believe. And there's a lot of people that we're not born believers. We have to be taught. We have to find our own paths. So Sean is on his own. Let's see. Hey Ash, how did you get started doing comic YouTube videos? That's a good question. So back in 2017, I was doing things in life. Was not collecting comics at the time. And I don't know how, comics has always been part of my DNA. And somehow, I don't remember the details because I wasn't really paying attention, but somehow I came across on YouTube some comic videos from your boy Zach when he was calling himself Diversity in Comics. And he was talking about comic books. And I knew what was going on, some things, just a little bit from the outside about comics. And, because I dip my head into the conversation every once in a while. And I remember when they made Thor a woman, I was like, they did what? What is going on? When Captain America was made a Nazi, I was just like, what the F is going on in comic books? But I was like on the outside. So somehow I came across these videos and Zach was doing his thing and he was just making fun of the industry. And he was mocking those things and then all the current things that were going on. And my eyes got open and I was starting to go down this rabbit hole of what the hell is going on in comics? And, I've been political for some time. I think I became political right around the second term of George Bush's, in his second term in office. And I started waking up politically at what was going on and started becoming very upset with Bush and everything, the government, and just being like, wait a second, and so that's kind of where I became with that. And then through the Obama administration, I became very aware of the hard left turn that this country was taking. And so when I came to this point, the idea of the progressives invading comics and everything like that was just something that just kind of piqued my interest. And I was like, wow, what the hell? This culture war and how it's affecting comics. And it was something that I've loved since the mid 80s. That's when I got into comics originally. I loved comics, and I was just watching this thing that I love become infested. And Zach just had a really interesting way of talking about it, because unlike some other people, there's lots of people who do YouTube videos of, Zach didn't have like an angry tone about it. He would rant about it and be like, this is bullshit, like stuff, but he didn't do it like every video wasn't like an angry video. And he would do it in almost like a mocking way, like just look at how stupid these people are, But what really grabbed me beyond that was when I saw the first video that he did of a comic that was good. And I was like, oh, because at first I was like, man, all comics have just gone to dog shit. And then he read a review, he was like, this comic's actually really good. This comic is amazing. And I was like, and then you could see the passion in his voice, or hear his passion in his voice. And I was like, this is a guy who really loves comics, right? He may not be a comic expert. Some of his takes, I just go, oh my God, Zach, what the fuck? But it doesn't matter. He just likes comics. He loves them. And I share that same kind of love. And we also have a similar mindset. Like, we both came into comics in the mid 80s. We both grew up on some of the same comics, although he's more of a G.I. Joe guy and I'm an X-Men guy. We still were part of that Jim Shooter era, and I could relate to some of the things he said. And what I really related to was that passion. It's like, look, you can hate all the bad things that are going on, but he didn't just clamp down and that was it. Like, he wasn't one of those black pill kind of people where everything just sucks. It all sucks all the time, and I'm just going to make fun of everything. He would find the good stuff, and I really liked that. I liked that dichotomy. And he started doing some DC books. And now I was not a DC guy. I was a big Marvel guy. And I knew about Batman like most people do. And that was right around the time when the first Metal was going on. And he did a review of White Knight. And that caught my attention. I saw the art on it and I was like, oh, what is this? And he started talking about it and everything. And I was like, this sounds like something I need to check out. And I wasn't yet buying comics at the time. I had been following along the whole Comicsgate fiasco and things for about 6 months. And I said, you know what? I really want to get in on the conversation. I really want to talk about comics. This guy, Zach, he's just doing videos in his car with his phone. He's just pointing a camera at a comic book and just talking and just giving his opinions. And I was like, I could do that, and I didn't do it with the intent of being the next Zach. I didn't do it with the intent of having million subs or whatever. I just did it with I just want to express myself. I'm just one of those people. I just like to just get shit off my chest. So the videos are kind of cathartic in that way. And so I bought into White Knight, and the rest is history. I was like, I fell in love with DC, fell in love with White Knight, started doing videos and got to meet people and like you guys and have conversations, and that's where we are. That's a long story. I've said it before, but I guess it's been a while. So now everyone in this room that was listening knows about it. Let's see. Tehillim says, I read SGM Punk Rock Jesus. It's a fictional story that dealt with a real history event that happened in the UK. Yeah, I do want to read. I'm apprehensive about reading Punk Rock Jesus. Part of me really wants to read it because I like Sean Gordon Murphy and I think the guy's a true talent. But the religious side of me, or the believer side of me, goes, I don't really want to read anything that's heretical. But I've heard people like Tehillim here saying it's not really what you think it is. And so I'm on the fence. Doug Johnson says, most atheists just really have daddy issues. That could be too. I think most atheists, from my perspective, are people that are just lost, right? They're just like it's not like I don't have all the answers. I think we're all in some ways lost, but when I say atheists are lost versus like me, what I mean is like I'm lost, but there's a light. There's like a guiding light. Like, you know, whether you imagine being in a tunnel and seeing a light at the end, or like the North Star, or something that you're just sort of like, this is where I'm headed. It's giving me a direction. I think atheists don't have that light in their life. They don't have that direction. And by definition, how can you? Like, how, if there is no God, I've sat and thought about this a lot. If there is no God, if we are just, what I heard a famous atheist once say in a debate that I listened to, if we're just all random molecules in motion, I always thought that was a great way of putting it. We're just random molecules in motion. Actually, I think that was the Christian guy that said it, that was debating him, said that. But anyways, then what's the point of anything? There's just nothing. We're like the plankton in the sea. We're just floating around, consuming whatever. Everything else is really kind of pointless. What does morality even matter, right? That doesn't. Why shouldn't you just serve yourself at all times? Because if there's no God, then there's no higher power. There's nothing to answer to, and no one's life but your own matters. And does their life even exist? Do they even have souls? Why are they any more important than the cockroach you stepped on? These are all just philosophical ways that I think everyone has to come to their own path. I mean, this stream is, first of all, I don't want to get in a religious stream, but everyone is just on their own journey, and I think if you're an atheist, you just don't have a destination, if that makes sense. Eric says Jane Foster is Thor. Bigot. No, she's not. She's Valkyrie. Pay attention, Mr. Back Issues. Let's see. Tehillim, what is your religion? I've always wondered as a fan of your channel. I don't know what Tehillim's religion is, but I'm guessing he's Jewish. But I could be wrong. I am not. That's just a pure speculation. Let's see. Riek says, I like an origin story. Or he probably said it like, I like an origin story. Let's see. Eric says, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. No, wait, it's a train. Choo-choo. Let's see. Teelan says, I got no problem if a character in a comic is a Christian, Jew, Hindu, because we all have our own stories. If a character is atheist, even they have a story too. Well, that's very true, actually. I mean, the reason I don't have problems with atheists in story or Hindus or Jews or whatever is because that's the way the world works. That's if I were to only read stories where everyone was a Christian and everyone matched my point of view, then what would really be the point of the story? The only thing that I draw the line at is when a writer goes into the realms of what I consider something sacred, like blasphemous. And I don't really like reading stories that involve God because of that. Not necessarily because everyone that writes stories about God are blasphemous, but no one can write God. Like you're going to get it wrong. And so by definition, you're making something heretical. And I've always felt it's better, like in comics, when Marvel or DC just leave God out of it. Just have your little fantasy universes, and you can have your supreme beings and things like that, and you can have Mephisto instead of Satan. That all works. But as soon as you interject and say, this is God, the God of the Bible, well, you're setting yourself up for getting it wrong. And there's just no win, and there's no need to. There's no need to do that. So, but that's me. I'm not telling anyone else how to live their life. I like answering questions. I hope anyone doesn't think that I'm like pushing stuff on you. I really I don't want to come across that way. I'm only talking about this because it's brought up, and I feel like I just honest about how I feel. Let's see. Ryuk said, would that include the second coming? Would you say the comic shouldn't exist or whatever? No, I don't. I don't think the book shouldn't exist, because I am a very freedom-minded individual. My political philosophy is very, I guess you would describe it as libertarian. Like, I believe in everyone should be free to do what they want to do up into the limits of infringing on other people's freedom or liberty. I don't have a right to tell anyone what book to write or not write. We all have that freedom. And I don't want anyone telling me the same thing. I believe Second Coming absolutely should exist. I don't want to read it though. Right? Like, it's not for me. I think it's very distasteful, and I don't want any part of it. But by all means, if that's what you want to do, you're free. I would encourage you not to. If you were the creator of the book and you were my friend, I would sit down and be like, really? Can you do something else maybe? Like, why you got to do that? Like, but there's a difference between trying to encourage someone or persuade them versus saying, no, you can't do this. I believe 100% that we can encourage and persuade people to try, to do things we want. That's fine. That's a way different than restriction of it. So that's my feeling on that. Teelan says, I plan on reviewing Soulfinder soon. This end, Doug has done a wonderful story. Plus, I enjoy stories around the supernatural. I really need to read the Soulfinder. Doug has sent me a copy, but the way things are around the house right now, I had to kind of put it away, so I didn't want it to get damaged. Plus, my phone camera, I can't shoot video anymore on my phone camera, so it makes it difficult to do videos of physical comics. On top of that, the Soulfinder is a square-bound book, and I don't want to open it wide, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways, I'm making excuses, but it looks gorgeous. Melissa says, my problem with atheists come from ex-boyfriend I had. It was abusive atheist. And when I was in the hospital, my son was abused by him. And that's why me and atheists don't get along. Well, Melissa, I encourage you to remember that everybody is different, right? This is the same problem that we have with bigotry and prejudice. This is the same problem we have right now is going on in the world, right? George Floyd was killed by a cop. So now we've got millions of people in the country are like, cops are bad. No. The guy who killed George Floyd was bad. There's lots of good cops, right? Black people are killing innocents on the street. Does that mean black people are bad? No. It means those people are bad. So I encourage everyone to remember this. This is the mindset. It's very easy to get into. Stereotypes they exist for a reason. It's very easy to fall into that and go, and it's probably a defensive mechanism that we have, right? And I see it in animals. My last dog, coincidentally enough, she was a black lab mix. But she did not like black people. I got her from a shelter. So part of me guessed that maybe she had an abusive owner that was black. I don't know. I don't know why. But she did not like him. Like, she was like, but everyone else, perfect dog, great, everything's fine. Just black people. So I think it's a defensive mechanism that we all have psychologically. If something hurts us, then we recognize the pattern. What is this thing that's hurting us? And some of those patterns can be like skin color, or maybe, oh, they have these particular religious beliefs. So then we see, okay, I got to avoid that thing. And we put up a barrier. And I think it takes conscious will to get over that. So I just encourage you to do that. Like you had a run-in with a bad person who did some bad things, but I assure you, not everyone else would fit that same mold. So let's see. We should probably wrap up this stream. I can't believe I got it in the conversation. I could talk about religion forever. It's usually a very touchy subject, and it's something you don't want to go like on YouTube talking about it. But at the same time, I'm one of those people that, like, I don't shy away. As soon as someone asks me a question about my beliefs or, religious or philosophical beliefs, I'll just jump right on. But I want anyone that's listening, please believe me. And I hope that I'm demonstrating it. I'm not trying to push anything on anyone. Let's see. Rex says, I can respect that, Ash. Ignore it, or just be like, get it away from me. Funny how the SJWs have no problem when that was infuriating Christians, but would begin to cry if one of their topics was being written. I'm not sure. It can be tough on these questions, but yeah, I think I get the gist of what you're saying, and they do. They do. If someone writes, well, that's the same. That's what happened. You could see how Zach, if any one of you guys remember, Diversity Comics, Zach, the whole comics community came down on him. Like, he became the pariah. He just was like, they hated him. I mean, we saw comics being written targeting Comicsgate. Like putting Comicsgate in the comics. not literally. They would do like an analog of it, but they were so affected. And all Zach was doing was having an opinion. He was just stating his beliefs. But they don't have one qualm about doing a comic like Second Son. They don't have one qualm going out and making fun of. All right, I think I'm back. My video card doesn't like OBS. Every once in a while it crashes and it recovers, but OBS stops. So that's where we get. Funny if it would just lasted a minute or two, because I was about to quit anyways. So it was abrupt. I thought about just not even coming back, but I wanted to say goodnight to you guys. Hopefully you took what I said with some level of understanding and so forth. I think bottom line, one thing we can all agree on, whatever our beliefs are, is that we should love one another, be kind to each other, respect each other's feelings, and just try to better understand one another. We all come from different walks of life. We all come from different experiences. Some of the things that are easy to us, we just go, man, it's so easy, are very difficult for other people, right? And take that into consideration. And I think that sometimes that makes us clash with each other, because we're like, how can you not get this? We think, how is it? This is so freaking difficult for you, because it comes so naturally to us. But maybe this person's got anxieties and fears. You never know what they've been through in life that prevents them from dealing in society the way you do. So I always try to be very understanding of people. I guess that's me just getting older and wiser. But hopefully take that message and apply it in your own life. Love one another. Read good comics. My name is Ash. Ed Brewer says, until next time.